Hello and welcome to live coverage of the Invitational Qualifier here at Apex Gaming. I'm Tandy, joined by Matt Currier. So hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
We are going to bring you guys this event from the Apex home store in Caldwell, Ohio. This is going to be a 6-round event. We're going to get final player count here in just a minute, but basically what we're playing today for is a qualification to the Lorcana Invitational that we're going to be holding next week at the home store in Caldwell, Ohio of Apex Gaming, and that is going to be sponsored by TCG Player. And we have 12 people already invited. Well, technically 13, because we did have 2 weeks ago, Nicholas Rausch actually earned his invite to the championship with his Amber Stitch Blitz deck, and we got a whole room full of players looking to do exactly the same thing today.
Right. We have 3 slots left this invitational today, and then 2 LCQs right before the event. So hope some players are going to be bringing their A game, trying to get into that invitational.
Yeah, so the event's going to be starting here in just a few minutes. We're going to get people lined up in the feature match area and ready to go. We've been playing a lot of constructed Lorcana, not only in real life at our locals and stuff, but also on Pixelborn. This is an online platform that's completely fan-made, and it's where I've done the bulk of my testing, mostly because the supply for the physical cards is somewhat limited at the moment. We're having a big re-release of set number 1 coming up here pretty soon, which should put more copies of the singles in players' hands, so we can actually have a well-defined metagame based on something besides card availability. But the players who are playing in these events are really serious about it, and they are coming to play. I actually was afraid 2 weeks ago when we had our first invitational qualifier that maybe players wouldn't have access to all the stuff, but it seemed like the Emerald decks are all packing for Cusco. The Amber decks all have 4 copies of Stitch Rockstar. Everything looked pretty well set up for these players to win.
Right. Yeah. Our players have had some time to prepare. They've got the cards in their hands. I'm really excited to see what they bring. We saw some exciting stuff last time, like you said, with Nicholas taking it down with Amber and Steel. Not this Ruby Amethyst deck. So now we've got a handful of more major players in the metagame. There's several decks you can take to a tournament and have a good shot. And I'm ready to see some matchups.
All right, well, Matt, we'll talk about the metagame a little bit here. You mentioned Ruby Amethyst Control, and this is a
Right.
deck that I think has essentially defined, Chapter 1 constructed for Lorcana over the last month and change. As players, realize that the games can be a little slow, they start to gravitate towards cards that can kind of solo carry. And
Right.
I think Ruby Amethyst has the bulk of those cards, from Be Prepared to Maleficent Monstrous Dragon, these 7, 8, 9 drops are the thing that's carrying Ruby Amethyst. And the natural foil to that is like a rush deck that plays, a whole new world.
Right, exactly. And that's exactly what we saw in Stitch Blitz is Amber Steel is able to consistently put out a bunch of pressure with cards like Lilo, and then just also have these card draw engines built in A Whole New World and Rapunzel and Stitch Rockstar to be able to pressure Ruby Amethyst early and still keep up with them into the late game, even as, the Be Prepared start coming out.
Yeah, when I first started playing Stitch Blitz, it's funny you bring up Rapunzel. I was actually playing 4 copies of Hades, Amber Hades, the 4 drop. I can't remember
Right.
the
God of the
extra name.
Underworld?
I'm not sure. Anyway, so the 4 drop Hades from Amber is not inkable, and Rapunzel
Right.
is one of the best Amber cards. But because I was playing so many cheap characters that didn't have high willpower, I kind of moved away from those in favor of Hades. But after watching Nicholas Roush play last week, I mean, even with characters that only have 3 willpower, being able to trade off with your opponent's 2 power characters and then still have something in play for Rapunzel to draw 2 of was nice. And so I'll probably just make the switch. Rapunzel's pretty expensive to pick up right now, but hopefully the price goes down over the next month.
Right. Rapunzel is definitely one of the key cards in the Amber Steel deck, to the point that in Amber Steel mirrors and also when Amber Steel is playing against Ruby Amethyst, a lot of the games can hinge around the opponent doing everything in their power to prevent Rapunzel from coming down, to the point of, not questing with something because God forbid your opponent takes it down and then is able to draw 2 or 3 cards off Rapunzel. That can just lose you the game on the spot. So Rapunzel definitely game defining.
Yeah, I mean, it changes the play patterns, right? Like, if
Yeah.
your opponent is playing Amber, you just have to be cognizant of leaving your stuff vulnerable to being challenged, and you have to be cognizant of leaving your opponent's stuff damaged on the table because that Rapunzel coming down, healing it all the way. It's hard to really define how important it is to heal a character because I think something like Hakuna Matata, that song out of Amber, it's relatively weak because characters don't usually survive in combat too long. When they do, they're usually so big that you're trading off 1 or 2 characters anyway. But a lot of the ways that Amber functions is by having things with very high willpower, and you just kind of leverage that in combat doing chip damage, and then you use Rapunzel for the max punish because drawing those 2 or 3 cards as you refresh your character is just so backbreaking.
Right. It can be hard to dedicate an entire card like Hakuna Matata to healing, but when you get it off a card like Rapunzel, it's like I would kind of describe it as like partial tempo, right? You're getting most of your card back because now that thing that you had on the battlefield is not just going to trade off with a goon at some point. It's like a whole card again, and you can do whatever you want with it.
All right. Well, this event is being brought to you by Apex Gaming, their home store in Caldwell, Ohio. Make sure to check out apexgaming.gg if you're looking for some cool events coming up. Not only do we have the Invitational Qualifier that we're going to be running today, but next week, starting on the 20th, we're going to have 2 last chance qualifiers on Friday to qualify for the Invitational. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be having that 2-day invite only $5,000 Invitational starring the former Magic World Champion Nathan Storier. We're very excited about this event.
Yeah, I really can't wait to see what all these top tier players from Lorcana and from Magic and other games bring to the table. We're gonna lock them in a room together and see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I mean, you are actually going to be heading up to Caldwell, Ohio next week to
Yeah.
do in-store live commentary. We get to hang out with all the players, hang out with the Huck brothers, Colin Taryn, as we, bring out all the action. It's going to be a great time. Me and Matt, we started the Lost Boys podcast about 2 months ago. Since then, we've brought Harlan Fear on as our co-host. But Matt, I was really excited to start this project with you, and I'm excited to continue working with you. You're going to be doing commentary with us next weekend. What do you think about that?
I'm really looking forward to it. I had a vacation recently. I took a step back. I am back in it. I am ready to get in there with Lorcana. We really have this mature metagame at this point. We've had set 1 for a while. We're starting to see set 2 spoilers, and players are really maximizing what they can get out of all these cards. And like I said, it's a very mature metagame, and I'm excited to see what stands on top at the very end of set 1 as we get close to set 2.
All right. So it looks like we're having just some small technicalities, chat. So we're going to take the broadcast down for just a minute, and then we'll be back with round number 1. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Make sure you refresh the page.